This regular meeting of the county commissioners to order. We do have a quorum, President. Please note that Commissioner Wilson and Chairman Allen are both excused today. Let's do the pledge and prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Your kind, eternal Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful day, and thank you for what you do for us. We pray for those that are sick and afflicted and those that are mourning. Pray for our nation and our county and our community, blessing upon them. Praying that we understand thy will in all that we do. We say all this in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. All right. Any change, if we look at the agenda, any changes?
And from what was posted, cast JTC directors each got off for a meeting.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion on the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Motion has carried. We have the minutes.
Motion to approve the minute.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those approved, all those who disapprove, whatever, the heck, whatever it is. Okay. Motion's carried. There. Did we vote? Yeah, we voted. Okay. Okay. I'm a little rusty. We have a number of bills to approve.
Motion to approve the bill.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is carried. Title 25, we do not have any today. Signature book.
Chairman. First one we have, Chairman, is the Fremont County Board Cut Parallel Public Utilities Right of Way Easement Application. I don't see a permit ID number, but location would be Riverview Road. And the name of the applicant is KLA Watts, Owl Creek Energy Service, 821 South Railroad Avenue. Motion to approve this bore cut parallel public utilities right of way easement application.
Second, Mr. Chair. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion's carried.
Abatement summary. Looks like over here side. Total was the value change was minus 2,099. Do you need anything of that?
It's just, it's the normal abatement that Perry does. We don't need to vote on it.
Letter, signatures are needed. And letter for Brandon for the authorized Fremont County Juvenile Justice Department apply for and receive the CJSB grant funds for 2026-2028 on behalf of Fremont County. So they can do this.
Just,
Motion.
entertain a motion.
Okay, motion to approve this letter. That is authorized for the Fremont County Juvenile Justice Department to apply, oversee, and administer the Community Juvenile Service Board grant funds for 2026-28 funding cycle on behalf of Fremont County.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion's carried.
So we wait on this one, that's right.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay.
Because we have Billy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Resolution 2026-06, amendment to resolution 2025-15, Resolution of the Board of Pima County Commissioners adopt legal holiday closures and other closures for 2026. Whereas Pima County Personal Policy Handbook, Section 5Q provides that the Board of County Commissioners will set legal holidays annually. Whereas per Wyoming statute 183103, county officers shall keep their offices open during usual office business hours of each day, excluding Saturday and Sunday, legal holidays, other days set by county commissioners, those resolutions, and you may read the holidays.
Mr. Chairman, you already approved this like in December, but we did not add on the election dates that you always close for. And so.
Oh, okay, so-
I was trying to update that.
So just
Okay,
amend,
so-
just as amended,
Okay.
yeah.
So be further resolved, the Board of County Commissioners that the following court closure day will be allowed courthouse employees to participate in training, other work related duties with business as usual. Primary elections, August 18th, Columbus Day, October 12th, and general election, November 3rd. Motion to approve the amendment on the legal holiday closures for Pima County.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is carried.
Commissioners' record of proceedings.
Thank you, Commissioner. Priority mail?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We have two items here. We have a letter of resignation from Jen Stewart, public health nurse manager, and her last day of work here for the county would be in March the 2nd. There a motion to approve resignation and letter of thank you for tenure here, and the other one is Angela Flint, Historic Preservation Commission. She's resigned effective immediately. Letter to thank her for her time on the board.
Okay, if we could, we just keep those separate. So
Yeah.
entertain the motion to accept the
Stewart.
resignation for Jenna Stewart.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion's carried. And
Angela Flint for Historical Preservation Commissions. Motion to accept that to resignation and give her a letter of thank you.
I have a first and a second. Call those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion's carried. Thank you, Commissioner. All right. Did we have any public comment?
No.
No? Well, we're running, so guys want to come up? Transportation? Billy Meeks, Station Director, and
Casey Jones with Dow.
just for the record.
Right. Good morning, Commissioners. We had our bid opening for our Dutch Ed project, which is out off North Second Street here, about a mile north. I was pretty pleased with the bids
Okay.
as they come in, so, roughly $1 million under what we were kind of projecting, so.
Always a million under is always good.
Correct. So, and this
Pay
is,
for our new cars, the road
Right.
commissioners.
and this is, on my road construction
Okay,
funding, so,
all right. Question for you.
yes, sir.
We just completed a $6 million project out there at solid waste, and there was a number of concerns. We had a lot of back and forth between Alexander and the solid waste district on accounting of we did this, no, you didn't, back and forth. It just raised the flag enough that it's certainly something you should be aware of, that to make sure our accounting is dialed. You seem to be pretty good at that. I mean, we've not encountered those issues and we've worked with them before, but just it did come up. Things change in organizations and stuff like that, and projects get big. And that was a big project. So I think it's getting resolved, but it left money on the table of in question. So,
Okay.
so anyway, just a heads up, and that's public knowledge. So I'm not saying anything out of school,
Right.
but you know, just something to keep our eyes on, make sure we got our ducks in a row.
Okay. And
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, there currently Alexander has my Riverview project and
Yeah,
built in,
great.
and everything's going good.
Okay.
With contractors.
Okay, good, good deal. So need a motion to approve this?
Yes, so we have a notice of award for approval.
Okay,
Very quick.
Okay. Motion to approve this notice of award for project Dutch Ed Lane reconstruction. Bidder Alexander excavation. Contracting with Dutch Ed Lane reconstruction, so motion to approve it.
second, Mr. Chairman.
any discussion?
You determine, do I need to give the amount for the contract?
Yes,
Okay. Contract price of the award contract is $2,538,864.50.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion's carried. Okay, anything else?
Today.
We don't want to talk about the great weather, all the gravel work you're getting done.
Plowing,
Yeah.
Our budgets are in great shape.
Right.
So far, right?
I was out in the roofing area yesterday with the roof and foreman, and it's horrible dry.
Well, it's something else.
Our roads look like it's July, August or dust and so, yeah, it's ugly. We need some moisture.
Okay,
Perfect.
all right, well, thanks for coming in. Good to see you guys.
Chairman.
Yep.
Those signs up there, I mean,
Not excited.
did they get done?
Not yet.
Okay.
They just, yep, okay, we'll get them, so.
Great.
Yep, they're out shops. We'll get them programmed and.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, shoot, I knew this would happen. You want to call up Jenna? Is it Gina or,
Might be able to get it.
I always-
Scott, he's right upstairs.
or Scott? Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about any meeting reports or concerns from commissioners.
Chairman, it looks like, Chairman Lodge, the Center Business Council is going to write a letter to Chairman Larry Allen on the basis of what it is doing and what they have in place now, and so just wait to see, when that letter will come in to basically see what, where they're at
Okay,
in their status. So,
anything,
I don't have anything this week.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
I have started to take a look at the bills that are coming through or are being posted for legislative. Probably the one that made my hair grow and fall out was the registration fees. It looked like they want to do some reduction on vehicle registration fees. The financial note on the bill is across the strait between $50 and $60 million for the next 3 or 4 years. Looks like, I know those hit schools and I know it's gonna hit us. I've asked Treasury to kind of give us some sort of indication of what that means. That's a big note. So just notice that was the only one that really caught my attention. But I'll try to get some summaries to you guys on that. Are you getting Jeremiah's updates on those bills?
I have not got his, I don't think.
Spreadsheet.
No.
It's a spreadsheet. I'll make sure I'll send it to you if you haven't received it from him. He just highlights what the bill is.
Okay,
And then if you go into the bill, you can look at the, financial impact. That's usually where I go. But yeah, not,
I didn't look at it this morning.
no, it's not a ton of bills yet, but it is early and it is a budget session, so it does take 2/3 to get a bill across. So
Mr.
that was the one that scared me a little bit.
You said the percent was that they think they're gonna drop on it. plates, the license plates.
It does say that. I can't remember the numbers. I just looked at the fiscal note. And the LSO is projecting that across the state, it's a $50 million impact between 40 and 60 across the years. The big nut is schools, which is half of it. And I don't know how the other half district. So I've asked our treasury department to look at that. So
Not to sound like a broken record, but, so they're gonna reduce those, but we still don't gather all of our sales tax from all of our vehicle sales. They're still sitting in our file, and so if the state would help by getting dealers to collect sales tax at the point of sale, we might get our sales tax that we're due to the state, to the counties and the cities. The second one is there is a bill, or was going to be a bill if it hasn't been filed yet, to increase the amount of money we get back on our prosecutor attorneys' salaries. Right now, I think it's max at $30,000, and that was looking to go up.
okay,
That is one good increase for us. Of course, there's a lot of election bills. We are working closely with several legislators, including the House and the Secretary of State, on what we can actually administer in 2026, including some hand count audit stuff. We are working very hard with particular both sides of the houses there on that, that we're willing to try out for this next year. So we'll keep you informed of that. I don't think there's too many that totally affect our our processes, but there are some that, depending on where amendments go, it's super hard to start, that the session ends in early March and we start filing for office in May, and
Yeah.
it just goes fast, and unless some of those dates are moved up, that make it pretty difficult for clerks across the state to get those jobs done. So we'll keep watching those for you too. And I have to apologize to you for not getting the legislators here in December, when we usually do that. So I apologize we didn't get that done.
okay. Thanks. All right, Scott, we're gonna take you early since you showed up, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Yeah.
Morning.
Excuse me, just a minute. Emma, maybe you could talk to Safe Golf and have her come early.
No, she's,
She can't make it early.
no, the earliest we did.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, sorry, Scott.
First up, looking to do a budget hearing with the board. We had two sort of opportunities to work with at the museums. One was at the Pioneer Museum. We partnered with Lead Pest to have invasive species removed throughout not the entirety of the museum property, but a good share of it. And with share with Lead Pest and their partners, and then interacting with someone to get all that material up, which was pretty extensive amounts. And add $3,000 for the self-generated.
Okay, yeah, can we pull that mic a little closer? Thank you.
Looking at 3,000 to the contractual services line item for the Pioneer Museum from self-generated, so we can address that. The work's already been done. But it was a good opportunity for us. We'll have a little bit more at the Pioneer Museum. We'll look at the next fiscal year to do the remaining portion of the clerk. But that one should be pretty minor compared to this one. They got a lot done in this particular deal. And then at the Riverton Museum, in order to comply with fire code, we had to have our exit signs hardwired. So we finally got an electrician to come in and take care of that. So we're looking at $1,700 from the self-generated to the contractual services line item in that one. So the museum is up to code.
Okay. Any questions for Director Getz? All right, I entertain a motion.
Motion to approve this, request from the museum for the changes noted,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
or better yet, Chairman. Move to grant permission to the museum board to hold public budget hearing for the purpose of increasing their self-generated budget as requested.
Okay, any discussion?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Motion is carried.
And just a quick update on kind of where we're at. What you have in front of you is, the sort of July through December, financial and attendance sort of information for the museums. Attendance has been good over last year, quite a bit. I won't go through the whole thing, but, revenue is up at all three museums significantly over last year. And that's over and above the one-time revenue from grants and some things along those lines. So I'm optimistic, I guess, that the next 6 months will hopefully continue with the same pace. We'll see what happens when we get a little further into the season. But you know, I think like we talked about before, the adjustments that we made last spring are bearing fruit. Visitation, and a good share of our visitation. Typically in the past, about 65% of our visitation comes from outside of Fremont County, just across the board. The program coordinators, you know, a big part of their focus is social media and trying to promote the museums. So we've seen in this last 6 months, we've seen an uptick in the numbers of non-county residents, as well as county residents, but the percentage has increased from non-county residents. You know, I would say a huge amount, but 2 or 3% for sure. So, you know, getting close to 70% non-county residents visiting the museums, which, you know, can't complain about the money coming in. So right now we're looking pretty good, or, you know, certainly right now we're going in the right direction as far as that goes. So that's all I got.
Okay. Any other questions, discussion?
Mr. Chairman, so what is your admission fee, for Roots and Lander?
$7 for adults, and then there's discount for veterans and seniors, and then children are $4. I can't remember off the top of my head. We increased the admission fees by $1, basically, is what we did last spring. And then each museum, depending on, you know, for the program fees, it depends on the program. Some programs are free, some are $3, some are $25. It varies depending on the scope of the program and what's involved as far as putting it on, how much time it takes. Rental fees are adjusted periodically by the sites, depending on, you know, basically what we think the market will bear without impacting the usage. And so that's generally a moving sort of target. We try to find that sweet spot.
Okay. Anything else,
Thank you.
commissioners? All right, thank you, Scott.
Chairman, we have a
Gentlemen,
commissioner put on his board here pretty soon, right? Not today, but
I believe you.
Okay. I think we got one slot to fill.
I think so, you're right. Okay, Gina. Please introduce yourselves. Oh, you're not coming up?
She needs to be up here as well, yes.
You need reinforcements.
Gina Stewart, Public Health Nurse Manager. This is Nicole Teal, Nicole Redondo. She's the nurse supervisor for public health. I am here to actually put in my letter of resignation for, Public Health Nurse Manager. And we need to open up the position. So, and we have some candidates in mind, so we need to get that process going. So, here's my signed letter of resignation, and you all have a copy of that as well. And so I'll be moving on.
Well, I just want to say, we just have appreciated your service. You've just been excellent. So sorry to see you go.
Sorry to go.
Commissioner?
Chairman, so who will be your acting leader in this process?
As I'm in this process, I'm training Nicole to take over this position. She will be learning all of the budgets, and I've been starting to train her in this process already. She's been privy to everything. She's my partner in crime with everything that I do. I shouldn't say crime. She's been partner in everything that I do. And public health, and as far as the state, county, it's a lot of hats to wear in this position. And as a nurse, it's hard just because, I mean, it's very much a business position to take on. And she's got a master's degree in nursing, and as a matter of fact, a master's degree in management. And so she is very, yeah, I know.
Overachiever.
Overachiever, absolutely. And she's absolutely very well equipped to take this role on. And she's been doing this about 6 months less than me. And so she's very much ready to do this and take this on. So, and I'm ready to go back to being I shouldn't say a real nurse, but a bedside nurse, and doing women's health again, and working at Sage West as in women's health as a labor and delivery nurse. So I'm very excited to do that.
Okay. All right, we
So you
did,
see you go.
yeah, absolutely. We did, accept the resignation. We did that earlier in the meeting. So we need to, entertain a motion to open up applications for, the position.
So noted.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay. Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion is carried. And our thanks again.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate you all. Thank you.
What would the best contact for our regional manager to get in contact for interviews be to get a hold of you guys?
Probably coordinate everything through Emma and then copy Larry on that.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
I will let her know.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you.
Well, kind of going through meeting reports, we're kind of ahead of our schedule. So we're gonna go ahead and take a break until 10:20, when Big Prior is scheduled. So have a nice nap. We'll do the same. All right, the meeting is recessed until 10:20.
This is what
Sorry about that. Yeah. Starts and restarts.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Mr. Allen,
He is not here, and neither is Jim, but if you've got a copy for them, that would be great. Okay.
Okay. I'm Faith with Treatment Courts, Fremont County and Youth Services. So kind of an update since our last meeting. We do currently have 4 students in our day reporting center. We're actively getting more referrals in. Currently right now with the referrals that have come in, we will have 6 students as of March. And so that's kind of half of our capacity for the day reporting center. So I do anticipate more referrals to continue to come in. Usually we see an uptick in those referrals right before like spring break. I think some young people have some cabin fever, and so we do see a rise in that.
Can I ask a question about that real quick? So I met up with, and I'm sorry, the name avoids me at the moment, but the head of the superintendent of 25, school district 25. She said you were gonna have a meeting with her because there were some issues that you wanted to iron out. How did that meeting go? Well?
It went really well. Miss Iba and I realized that our MOU is from, I believe, school year 23 to 24. So we're working on updating that MOU.
Okay.
We talked about kind of my thoughts of how I would like the day reporting center to evolve. What I'm working on implementing currently, kind of what the school district would like to see. So it was really a good meeting of just brainstorming and how we're going to work together and moving forward.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry, thank you.
Yep, you're good. So the last time we met, I also talked about the Community Juvenile Services Board, which is our CJSB, and that grant being released. When I came and spoke last month, I was not aware that within this grant process, to even begin the grant process, I have to have the approval of the governing board, so the commissioners, to do that. So I'm asking today for that approval to proceed in applying for the CJSB grant for the 2026 through 2028 fiscal years.
Commissioners, entertain a motion if everybody has one.
Did we do that, Charlie?
Yeah,
We did already.
that's the one you had.
Did we do that already? Oh, now I won't understand. Thanks. Get picky on it. Great. I hate those details. All right, we've done that.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Did we do it earlier? Okay.
So within youth services, January seemed to be a pretty slow month for citations. A lot of our citations came from the Lander PD. But we did receive 3 additional citations out of Carbon County regarding an incident that happened over there with some of our Fremont County juveniles. So youth services has taken those citations to begin the diversion and probation process with those 3 juveniles. For our treatment court, regarding CAST, which is our adult program, we currently have 19 participants, 5 who are in residential treatment. I believe 2 or 3 of those individuals will be returning to CAST and participating in those services this month. At different points in times. So we'll get them back going in the treatment process. I'm currently working with 2 individuals through the jail right now as proposed clients, working with their attorneys, and following them through that, court proceedings. Since we met last time, I conducted a lot of interviews for the treatment court coordinator. That position was filled internally. And so I'm coming to the commissioners with a request of filling the case manager position. Based on the interviews that I did in that panel, I had a ton of really good applicants that meet the criteria for the case manager position. And so my question to the commission is, can I use those very recent interviews for the case manager position to get that filled and kind of get that ball rolling at a,
I don't see an issue. Yeah, absolutely.
okay. Perfect. That position is also going to be hired within the approved budget salary range of the 56,883. Then with JTC, there's really no been status change in that program. I did have a candidate from Texas reach out to me regarding questions, wanting to learn more about the program. She had applied for the therapist position. Unfortunately, with her at this very moment, she does not have a Wyoming license. And so she is beginning that process as she is hoping to move here this summer. So her and I talked, and she's going to kind of keep me updated on what that process looks like, entails, if Fremont County is somewhere she's going to land and is still interested in when that time comes. So that's kind of promising, not only with the juvenile therapist position, but also potentially a clinical supervisor position. We just have to kind of work out some of the details of her current licensure and if she is capable of doing that when she comes to Wyoming.
Okay, any other questions or discussion? for-
Mr. Chairman, how does it take for them to get licensed?
That I don't have a good answer to. I have no idea. I did direct her to an individual with the licensure department that I've talked to on a couple different bases that's easier to get a hold of than some others. So I'm hoping she was able to contact him and get some of those questions answered. But as far as the actual time frame, I don't know what all that entails on what that looks like. I think a couple months though.
Sure. Different comment. Thank you. When we're looking for a director, we're looking for somebody who would do what you're doing and jump in and take care of issues that could be occurring or are occurring and handle them and so we wouldn't worry about them and it wouldn't get out of control. And you've been doing that along with everything else. So I thank you for getting things done as director. You're doing a very good job.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
I believe that's it.
Well, thank you for coming in and.
Mr. Chairman, I know
Yep.
Sage and I talked about this a little bit, but I think it's super important for you to know that that clinical supervision piece has got to, that's got to happen here by the next budget, if not sooner.
Yeah, that's good.
And I
good
know
reminder.
that you guys have been kind of involved, but I did tell Sage maybe she'd jump into an advertisement of some sort to see if we can find that so that we can have it internally. Not happen to, these folks are still paying it out of their own pockets, is my understanding. Our programs are not paying for
Our
it.
programs are not paying for it.
So that's concerning to me, so
Yeah.
just
it
wanted,
needs to
again,
be
we
in
talked about
our
it a little bit,
budget.
I just
Yeah,
wanna help her with
absolutely.
that a little bit.
Absolutely, Commissioner.
Chairman, so if we do a motion for her to advertise, we should advertise for like a contractual.
Sure, I mean, unless,
Could
and
you-
then it sounds like this person in Texas would be great, but we don't know if that'll happen, but in the meantime, I think trying to get our own under Sage's cares of,
Yeah.
we can be in control of that would be
Like,
really good for her right now,
Yeah.
for all of them.
Chairman, I believe it'd be a lot easier to get somebody under contract and be able to bring them in and work with them, whoever it may be, but to advertise it as a contractual position.
Okay.
And so if I had to do a motion, I
Oh,
would. I motion that we approve and give the director of CAS the authority to do advertising or to put out their contractual,
for clinical supervision.
yeah, for clinical supervision, in a sense of advertising for a contract position immediately.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion's carried.
Thank you. I will get that information to Emma. She's been helping me navigate that advertising process.
Right,
Perfect.
look at you, just getting your feet wet and running.
Yeah, jumping in both feet.
Good deal,
Pretty nice swim.
good deal. All right, so now we'll go to recess until 10:20.
How many days?
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, if I get you all to introduce yourselves
Sure.
for the record,
Yes, Mr. Vice Chairman,
Mr. Commissioner.
whatever you want to call
My
it.
name is Mick Breyer. I am the chairman of the Fremont County Association of Governments Committee on Funding Key Services.
Sarah Riley, I'm just on the committee for funding key services.
And Mr. Chairman, Kyle Butterfield, I'm also a member of the committee.
So commissioners, thank you so much for the audience. This is a relatively, I apologize for breaking a date promise. I told Commissioner Allen that we would be back at the end of January, and I apologize. We needed to do one more meeting with FCAG before we presented these two documents to you, but in your hands, you have a draft resolution plus a memorandum of agreement related to the economic development sales tax at 3/4%. I realize that you probably you only just received these today or late yesterday, but it is our intention to ask the question next week after consideration from you all on this resolution and MOA. Of the two, the resolution is the more time critical. But we've had pretty good consultation with FCAG and deliberation within our own committee on the why, the how, and the what within this. So you will, as you kind of peruse the resolution, at the bottom is the draft language that would go on the ballot. And we did our best to ensure that it is as tightly aligned as possible to only address ground emergency ground ambulance, commercial air service, and then public transportation. From a kind of a breakdown standpoint, I think one of the things to kind of also enumerate inside of ground public transportation is that this is not exclusive to WRTA. This would include senior centers as well as Head Start, all public transit organizations would be eligible to receive these. So it's not just a direct line item to WRTA. It's to cover a lot of different aspects of public transit. The commercial air service side is pretty straightforward. It's basically to cover the minimum revenue guarantee that the city of Riverton has engaged with through the Wyoming Department of Transportation Aeronautics for commercial air service into and out of Central Wyoming Regional Airport. And then the final component, the ground ambulance, is probably not necessarily the hardest to nail down, but it is certainly the largest component of this of where we see these monies likely going. But that's the other thing that I wanted to kind of bring to the attention of the commission is, as we do this, I think that it is important from it's good governance, and I think excellent to public perception. I realize that this commission has dealt with ambulance directly at this level for several years, but I think it might be worthwhile for the commission to consider. And I certainly am not asking for the question today, but I think it would be worthwhile for this commission to consider establishing an advisory board to the commission for the administration of ambulance. As time goes on, obviously, this is I've read the contract. It is relatively straightforward, but there are a lot of nuances and idiosyncrasies here in the county with respect to ambulance that I think probably would be, the commission might be well suited to establish an advisory board of folks in various locations and expertise levels to assist with the administration of ambulance, in particular, if this is successful. So just something to consider.
Okay. A question for you. Knowing that the MRG with the air service has changed over time, I assume you've done some sort of analysis of looking what projections would be for the ambulance, WRTA, and air service, and this particular 0.75 is high, I mean, have you done some sort of analysis based on what we paid and the arc, and well, not the arc, but at least the slope in which we're going, and where we would be with that? You know what I mean? I'm looking for, does it cover the costs currently and projected for, it's still gonna be 4 years, because we have to come back in 4 years. So,
Mr. Chairman, I'd be happy to provide some answers to that and then also stand for follow-up. As it relates to commercial air service, the numbers that are being used are those that are part of the current contract that YDOT holds with SkyWest Airlines doing business as United Express. The city of Riverton has opted into that contract through a memorandum of understanding, and there are price points related to that service for fiscal year 26 through fiscal year 29. So that would cover this 4-year period of the proposed optional economic development tax. And what we're looking at for commercial air service is a total cost to receive that service in our county of over $10 million. We anticipate that revenues generated by that service will cover a little over half of that. And as you know, for the service contract, we do have to provide the remaining amount. And that for fiscal year 26 through 29 ranges between roughly 4.5 to 4.9 million. Now, fortunately, the state of Wyoming covers 60% of that cost, and we're, as a community, asked to match that 60% with 40%. And I'm providing this, I guess, through a long answer so that people see exactly where the money goes. I think that's important. But to cover that $10 million cost for fiscal year 26, the community is asked to secure the cost of air service for roughly 1.8 million. And that will be secured through contract all the way through fiscal year 29. There are escalators in that, but we know those costs. As it relates to the cost for ground transportation or bus service, public bus service, those numbers were provided by FCAG and WRTA. And as it relates,
excuse me, Kyle.
Please.
So I'm comfortable you're getting your numbers. Is 75 cover it? Does it have a little bit of a surplus to allow for inflation and growth in those numbers? And does it cover it for the next 4 years? Or are we gonna be sitting back here in year 2.5 or 3 asking for more general fund dollars again?
Mr. Chairman, as the model currently sits, 0.75% covers the cost. However, I would say that the figures that we would need your help on are the figures related to ambulance service. At 0.75% and using, I think, very conservative estimates, and this is going back a few fiscal years, we're anticipating revenues from the 0.75% tax to total roughly 6.5 million. Based on the memorandum of agreement that's before you and the percentage split out of the 6.5, 1 million of the proceeds would go to support ground transportation, and that covers the needs of as communicated by FCAG. 2 million of the 6.5 would go to support air service, and then 3.5 of the 6.5 would go towards ambulance. And that's based on what we have worked as a community and committee to anticipate. But the cost for ambulance is something I think you as commissioners would help us cover. So I would say yes, with some caveats that 0.75% covers. And I know there are questions as to whether or not 0.5% will cover the needs. And the answer to that is if ambulance is 3.5 million, it's a no. If it's a smaller contract amount for ambulance, the answer would be yes. But that, I hope that helps show how it's broken down to answer your question.
Okay. Can you send us those numbers, or I think that kind of goes into us looking at this next week.
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. These were provided to FCAG, and we'll be sure to ensure those are shared with you as well.
Get a copy of that. So one of the things that's kind of sticking out there for us is the conversations we're having, and we need to finalize with Du Bois. They've started to propose some ideas where they had some volunteers to take over a portion of that. That's a significant dollar amount in the current subsidies. So we need to get through that. And we're gonna be speculating a little bit, but if we get through that conversation, it's certainly gonna have bearing on what that ambulance number is gonna be going forward. It's a pretty good chunk of the subsidy itself. And so far, at least the last time I talked to Larry, it sounded like that Frontier is not asking for any major increases. Simply some incrementals that we expect, but so far. But anyway, we'll try to do the best we can and try to nail those down. Unfortunately, it may not be nailed down going forward, but anyway, I mean, for this period of time that we're trying to get done. So those are hanging out there. Appreciate the work you guys have done on this. Open that up, commissioners, you have some questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, yes. I see here, you want to do 75% of overall, for overall services, correct? 0.75.
Correct, 0.75%. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And then you want to go for the two of the others, you're gonna go a half for the ambulance and a half for air service transportation?
Not exactly. So the breakout at the moment, based on the memorandum of agreement, is
That has changed then in this memo, I understand.
yeah, so that memorandum of agreement at the moment is drafted at about 54% towards ambulance, 31% towards commercial air, the commercial air service guarantee, and then about 15% towards public transit, ground transportation. Sorry, and I'll let Kyle's got better handle on these.
You got a handle on that, okay.
And Mr. Pryor's absolutely correct. I think it's important to know that the 75% is really, as it relates to the point, it's a 3/4% tax. Instead of a 0.5%, it's 0.75 of 1% proposed as the tax. And then the proceeds of that are broken out pursuant to the memorandum of agreement, where in the proceeds of the 3/4% tax, 54%, so the majority would go towards ambulance. 31% would go towards air service and 15% would go to ground. So that is how the proceeds would be distributed to the services.
And so that total is what, top total amount?
So going towards ambulance, sir, it would be about based on a $6.5 million revenue generated from 3/4%. Of that 6.5 million, 3,510,000 would go towards ambulance. 2,015,000 would go towards commercial air service, and then 975,000 would go towards public ground transit.
Yeah, and then will all of those, will those figures cover all the replacements? Let's say we have all of our ambulances right now are 350, 400,000 miles. So what about replacement costs on that kind of stuff?
If you don't do it all at once, I suspect it probably, I think that's part of the question that we pose back to you, is from a replacement calendar and that type of depreciation schedule. And I think that this is more than enough to cover that type of need, or basically to backfill what we're dealing with at the moment. But with respect to, will it do it all in 1 year or across several years, that I don't have the answer to, I'm afraid.
Because they're getting up there in mileage, and when we start getting that big a mileage, we start seeing problems.
Right.
And so, and then when we get the last one, with the last ambulance we ordered, we took a year to get it, over a year
So it's
to
COVID,
get it.
but yeah.
So that's why I kind of asked what we're doing and what we're gonna do for maintenance.
Well, and what I would tell you, Commissioner, is looking at what we've kind of projected out, we think that 0.75% is sufficient to cover those needs, over several years. Plus provide for the operation of the ambulance service itself. I would say without assuming that the payer mix stays relatively consistent, this is probably more than sufficient.
A lot more in favor of the sales tax than I am putting that on the property tax numbers. That way, everybody pays. With the inflation that we've had over the years and the cost of groceries from gasoline, you name it, there's nothing that hasn't come down much. Everybody's strapped on the property tax because it comes all at once and you go, well, how am I gonna pay this $4,000 or $5,000? And where sales tax, yeah, you pay it up front, it's a little ahead of the game, but you don't have to come up with a big chunk of change, so. And one way or the other, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to have an ambulance service, so. We got two choices, property tax or sales tax right now, so. We appreciate the work that we've done and we'll see what the voters wanna do.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. So essentially, this is asking us, this resolution to buy into putting it to the people.
Yes, sir.
Say, we're just all we're saying at this as an approval would be, yes, we think the voters should weigh in on it. Right?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that this memorandum of agreement has to be nailed down at the same time? My impression is that would not, that we need to spend a little bit more scrutiny and a little more time, a little more scrutiny.
No, sir. This is our 85% solution draft based on consultation with the members of FCAC. I hopefully, and it has gone, I'd like to thank the city of Riverton. Rick Sollers did a legal review of it, but certainly it is not the time critical piece relative to the entire problem. The issue at hand is we have until, I believe, the end of March to pass this resolution through all of the respective bodies. That includes the county as well as all of the cities and towns before it is allowed to be put onto the ballot in the primary election in August. So this is not necessarily an endorsement of, yes, we should do this. This is just allowing the voters to weigh in.
And what's the deadline for that?
I'll put that to you. I have it right in front of me.
Okay.
Find it for you.
But I believe it's sometime in late March.
Okay. All right, other questions, comments?
Chairman, I was hoping that the two tribes would be a part of this MOU, only because with their support, I think, you'd have a better movement toward, moving this action in the sense of having people vote for it on the ballot. We always forget that there are, there's quite a few voters within the boundaries of the reservation and off the reservation who are enrolled members, tribal members, and in that, to totally exclude them in this, it seems like they're not part of the issue, but they are. They're totally part of this whole issue, and yet I see nothing here about their either agreeing or not agreeing or being a part of their, again, which if I was, well, I'm not gonna say what I would do if I was the chairman, but I would be kind of concerned because in all three of those areas that you talked about, they do have input and they do have a say, and they do have the ability to move this either forward or not move it forward. I truly believe that. People don't understand that if you gather and motivate those tribal members to vote, you can move something. You can change something. Some people forget that, especially people who run for office.
Yes, sir. So I apologize on the omission of those two bodies. Ultimately, because of how the state writes, how sales tax is not only collected but distributed, the cities and towns as well as the county are the only ones who are going to actually receive funds. I don't think there is anything improper with adding additional signatories who are not necessarily bound by they're not directly bound by the how these funds flow. But this is a draft, so it's certainly not set in stone by any stretch. And if the commission would like us to add those two lines for signature, I am more than happy to do so.
And the issue is, people in the county believe that those who are on the reservation don't pay taxes. They pay their amount of taxes, they do, and they're part of the issue of taxation. And those who are also living within the boundaries of the reservation, that are on deeded land, pay taxes. So, I would suppose that, there would be some sort of, movement to understand that, this concerns that population also, but I'm just making sure that everyone within Fremont County is going to be aware of this and know that, we as governments are doing something that doesn't exclude them as constituents, and that, in that, hopefully they will understand what everything, in a sense, know exactly about this, in a sense of understanding it. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. I think that's a really important point, because this is taking it out of a property tax into a more equitable sales tax, which we know that is paid by everyone in the county. And certainly on the MOU, I mean, if I were them, one of their concerns is, what about coverage for the reservation? And in our discussions with them over several years have been, hey, can you step up and help us pay out of your general funds, out of your dollars? And this does do that for them. So I think on the MOU piece, I think that's an important thing to have that conversation, because if I were them, I'd say, well, then what does that mean for me? You know, what do we get out of the deal? We're now paying additional sales tax. What does that mean for me? I think it's a valid.
So, yes, sir. What I might suggest in my earlier statement with respect to an advisory panel or board, I think that would probably be an appropriate place for those voices to be represented.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily, again, something that I would ask you to codify today, but I think it's something that the commission should seriously consider.
So the only other thing, and Mick, you and I have talked about a little bit about this, an advisory panel. So in our long ongoing conversations with municipalities, we have talked about this sort of idea before. Our concern with property taxes, we were, as a county, we're saying, so how are you gonna pony up? I mean, if you guys want more of, say, at the table, how are you gonna pony up? I think this does that. And I worry a little bit, just because I know how grumpy commissioners can be, at least this commissioner. I won't throw you guys under the bus. Over time, you know, okay, I can just see over time if that relationship degraded, and this is an advisory panel, and what does their voice have any teeth? Does their voice have any weight? And I think long term, I think a joint powers is better. And FGAG is a joint powers. And so with an eye for the future, knowing, there's going to be a different commission in here in a year. And going forward, those personalities change over time. I'd like to lock us into something. So, and I'm not saying we can solve that all today, but it's certainly, in my mind, gives a little more teeth to the folks that want to be at the table and influence what's happening in ambulance. And so there it is.
Chairman, I agree with you in that, again, part of the movement that I had was suggesting as a member of AvCag was to get the tribal entities in as members of AvCag, so that at that point, we're just dealing with AvCag, we're not dealing with another advisory board, but we're just dealing with AvCag. I'm agreeable, and I think the other commissioners were agreeable in hearing them, at the issue of, again, having another advisory board when you already have AvCag. I would just have AvCag, and then, but then I would allow the tribal entities and sense of governments to be a part of AvCag. I mean, we've gone over that again and again and again. How can you have a Fremont County, a AvCag without tribal government? Because then you're saying, look, they're not a part of anything we do, but they are. They're totally a part of everything we do here in Fremont County. And in that, they have to be a part of not just everything we're talking about, but this MOU and be a part of AvCag altogether. And that's what I keep advising, but I don't know, it's always gonna come back on that. And to say, well, now need to have another advisory board, yeah, that's something that probably isn't gonna sit well with the commission.
And Mr. Chairman, I think clarification would be helpful. I don't know if this group is proposing that you have an advisory board over the use of the potential 0.75% tax. I don't know if that's what this discussion is. That's not our proposal. The MOA is very explicit that the tax goes to fund core services that are at risk. And it explains how those core services will be funded. I think Mr. Pryor is recommending that an advisory board be put together to assist the county as it manages its responsibility that it currently has with ambulance. And I think having as many voices as possible is the right way to go. And Mr. Pryor, I know, has made efforts to work with some of our tribal partners. We had an opportunity to meet with the Northern Arapaho Business Council before we ever came and spoke with this group on this. So we agree that we should engage every voice as it relates to the services that we've defined as core services. But I suppose as someone who's observing this conversation, I'm not sure if you're talking about an advisory board over the tax itself or an advisory board over certain services.
Yeah, and thank you, Kyle. Admittedly, I have not studied this memorandum of agreement. And so we need to do that before next week so we can have a better conversation about what the way forward might look like. Because I agree more voices need to be at the table. And if commissioners will look back over our conversation, at least for the 7 years I've been in here, I would absolutely welcome additional voices to weigh into that and also help carry the burden of the decisions that get made. Because and it is what it is, but I think it's a good thing. So,
Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Chairman, I know you're in a forgiving mood today, but I'm not.
Okay.
We went and we made it known that we are asking FCAG to do that, what you're asking the advisory board to do. We went and sent the message to FCAG through me that that's what we wanted FCAG to do. Not have another advisory board on the ambulance issue, but the FCAG to take on the issue of advising about the ambulance. So in that, I'm just saying FCAG is supposed to be helping in that, and it just doesn't make sense to have another advisory board when FCAG has been noted by the commission and say, hey, help us out with this. So I'm just, I don't forgive that, so.
No problem, Mr. Commissioner. I absolutely, I want to be respectful of the autonomy that the county has with respect to administration of the ambulance, but I can't speak for FCAG as I am just an unelected committee member and chairman, but I think that is just making that known publicly to FCAG. I like what you have, but and reiterating it again. The hard part here is making sure that we don't overstep bounds with respect to the responsibility historically up until now for ambulance has been under the purview of the county. And we don't want to assert ourselves as, trying to pull a key service that you all have taken up responsibility for. We don't want to assume that, we don't want to assert where we are not, where we don't know that assertion is A, welcome, and B, warranted. So I think that FCAG is certainly a useful place to at least have that conversation and see if that responsibility should live there.
Nice thing about the Fremont County Association of Governments is that you got every mayor there. And you get an input from each one of those, and Clarence and I and you, we all met with the intertribal people one time out to the port there. And they were all in favor of the sales tax rather than property tax at that time too, so.
Yeah, which Commissioner had a good point, and I think it brings up a point, and FCAG's always been a little bit awkward for the county, is that a mayor can sit and represent what's going on at each municipality. A liaison from this board can't necessarily do that until they come back and have a conversation. So I think over time, and you guys aren't on FCAG, but I think over time, we need to have a meaningful conversation with FCAG and say, at some point, we got to do work sessions together where all 5 commissioners are here, because we're really, it puts a burden on the liaison that's not particularly fair. And we represent the entire county. And so it's to me, it's always been a little bit of an awkward thing. And that's just one of those things that we need to talk about with FCAG going forward, is how do we resolve that? Because it's never going to be the liaison can speak for all of us until we all talk. So always something that's out there mechanically that we work through.
I suspect that's probably the root of the problem on how we presented this relative to other alternatives. So,
Okay.
But again, that MOA is not it is not timeline dictated in the same way that the resolution is. So there is ample opportunity, and I'm more than happy to stand in the fold to help facilitate that if I can be. But
Okay. We are kind of time constrained today. Anything else, commissioners? Anything else from you guys?
thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to help you solve this problem.
Thank you for all your work on this. I know it's been a burden. It's been a good deal of work. So appreciate everybody on here,
Thank you.
on FCAG and all right.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, sounds good. Anything else needs to come before the commission? Emma, recap? Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Any discussion? You want to talk about it?
Yeah, we discussed it. When did we talk about the meeting with the Du Bois ambulance? When did you, we're gonna do a work session? Gonna do there?
I don't know. I'll talk with Larry and put the bug back in his ear. We need to get that back up here on our plate because it's financial, before budget. We have to resolve that.
Yeah, and that would help before we go in.
Yes. I'll talk with Larry and try to find out when we can get something on the schedule.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. I'll entertain a motion. Oh, I did already. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, we are adjourned.